Now we will discuss in continuation of previous class, that is Introduction to Engineering Drawing, in which the drawing conventions we are discussing. In conventions, layout of drawing sheet and line types and lettering in drawing. We left lettering in drawing. Inclined lettering is studying. So now first we will go to the inclined lettering. First you should know when we can say it is inclined and how they are used for what.
Inclined lettering has letters inclined at 75 degrees to the horizontal, and as in for vertical lettering, both uppercase and lowercase letters are used.
This is the inclined letters. Before drawing or lettering, you have to line like this. You have to draw lines like that, and now you draw one by one. A first, B, like this, B and C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, M, O, E, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Y, Z, and the numerals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 'In this way, the inclined letters
Inclined lettering has letters inclined at 75 degrees to the horizontal, and as in for vertical lettering, both uppercase and lowercase letters are used.
Now, dimensional methods. In this first we will discuss the dimension methods.
Dimensioning method. Dimensioning is used to describe a drawing in terms of details such as the size, shape and position of the object as per the dimensioning code 1166911986. Expressing this detail in terms of numerical values and by using lines and symbols is known as dimensioning.
In this dimensioning methods, we'll discuss some more points like general rules of dimensioning methods and systems of dimensioning and dimensioning arrangements. Now first we will discuss once again example of the dimensioning. Now discuss general rules.
General rules of dimensioning. Dimension lines are drawn using 2H pencil and arrow X in HP pencil. Extension lines should touch the object line as it originates and project 2 or 3 millimeters beyond dimension lines, maintaining a gap of 12 millimeters from the object line and a gap of 10 millimeters between adjacent dimension lines.
This is an example of first rule, general rule dimensioning methods.
Dimension line should not project beyond extension line. All the information should be written horizontally. A given dimension should be indicated only once. It should not be repeated at another place. The larger dimension should be placed outside the smaller dimension. When the overall dimension is given, one of the smaller dimensions should be omitted unless it is needed for reference. Avoid indicating dimension inside the drawing. Always indicate the diameter of a circle, but not its radius. The symbol phi is used before the dimension, except when it is obvious. Following indications are used with dimensions to show applicable shape. The applicable indication shall precede the value of the dimension as shown in figure. Diameter and square symbol may be omitted where the shape is clearly indicated. Capital SR is equal to spherical radius. Square is equal to square spherical diameter. S pi is equal to spherical diameter. The radius of an arc should always be indicated with the abbreviation R placed before the value. The leader should preferably pass through the center of arc. For fairly larger arcs, the arrow is placed on the same side of the center. For smaller arcs, the arrow may be placed outside. Extension lines should not cross each other or dimension lines unless this can be done without making the drawing more complicated. Avoid dimensioning of hidden lines if possible. Always show the angle outside the space representing an object. Dimension should be given from the center line, finished surfaces or datum as applicable to a drawing. The center line should never be used as a dimension line unless the drawing is large size one. When a number of dimensions are indicated on one side of a drawing, they should appear on continuous line. In the drawing of a part with the circular ends, the center-to-center dimension is given instead of an overall dimension.
These are all the general rules of dimensioning. Total 17 were studied. And then next we will learn some systems of dimensioning.
Aligned dimensioning. In this system, the dimension text are always indicated parallel to the dimension line. They are placed just above the dimension line at the center. The dimension could be read either from the bottom or from the right side of the drawing sheet. Unidirectional method. In this system, the dimensions are indicated always horizontally, irrespective of the disposition of the dimension line. The dimension lines are broken in the middle and the dimensional values are inserted there as shown in figure. Unidirectional method. In this system, the dimensions are indicated always horizontally, irrespective of the disposition of the dimension line. The dimension lines are broken in the middle and the dimensional values are inserted there as shown in figure.
These are the systems of dimensioning, and next we'll discuss dimensioning arrangements.
Dimensioning arrangements. Chain dimensioning. When successive dimensions are arranged in a straight line, the method used is called chain dimensioning. Parallel dimensioning. When a number of dimensions are indicated from a common datum, the arrangement is known as parallel dimensioning. Parallel dimensioning. When a number of dimensions are indicated from a common datum, the arrangement is known as parallel dimensioning. Progressive dimensioning. In this method, a dot and a zero sign indicate the datum line. The dimensions are indicated progressively from the datum. The dimensions are placed as shown in the illustration. Progressive dimensioning. In this method, a dot and a zero sign indicate the datum line. The dimensions are indicated progressively from the datum. The dimensions are placed as shown in the illustration. Coordinate dimensioning. The method of dimensioning shown in figure is known as coordinate dimensioning. For simplicity, the same dimension can be shown separately in a tabular form as shown in figure. This system is used when a number of features have to be located from a common origin. Coordinate dimensioning. The method of dimensioning shown in figure is known as coordinate dimensioning. separately in a tabular form as shown in figure. This system is used when a number of features have to be located from a common origin.
These are all the dimensioning arrangements. Once again, we will discuss dimensioning methods. In dimensioning methods, there are some general rules. We will briefly, once again, we will learn some
general rules of dimensioning. Dimension lines are drawn using 2H pencil and arrowheads in HP pencil. Extension lines should touch the object line as it originates and project 2 or 3 millimeters beyond dimension lines, maintaining a gap of 12 millimeters from the object line and a gap of 10 millimeters between adjacent dimension lines. Dimension lines should not project beyond extension lines. All the information should be written horizontally. A given dimension should be indicated only once. It should not be repeated at another place. The larger dimension should be placed outside the smaller dimension. When the overall dimension is given, one of the smaller dimensions should be omitted unless it is needed for reference. Avoid indicating dimension inside a drawing. Always indicate the diameter of a circle but not its radius. The symbol phi is used before the dimension except when it is obvious. Following indications are used with dimensions to show applicable shape. The applicable indication shall precede the value of the dimension as shown in figure. Diameter and square symbol may be omitted where the shape is clearly indicated. Capital SR is equal to spherical radius. Square is equal to square spherical diameter. S phi is equal to spherical diameter. The radius of an arc should always be indicated with the abbreviation R placed before the value. The leader should preferably pass through the center of arc. For fairly larger arcs, the arrow is placed on the same side of the center. For smaller arcs, the arrow may be placed outside. Extension lines should not cross each other or dimension lines unless this can be done without making the drawing more complicated. Avoid dimensioning of hidden lines if possible. Always show the angles outside the space representing an object. Dimensions should be given from the center line, finished surfaces or datum as applicable to a drawing. The center line should never be used as a dimension line unless the drawing is large size 1. dimensions are indicated on one side of a drawing, they should appear on continuous line. In the drawing of a part with the circular end, the center-to-center dimension is given instead of an overall dimension. Systems of dimensioning. Aligned dimensioning. In this system, the dimension text are always indicated parallel to the dimension line. They are placed just above the dimension line at the center. The dimension could be read either from the bottom or from the right side of the drawing sheet. Dimensioning arrangement. Chain dimensioning. When successive dimensions are arranged in a straight line, the method used is called chain dimensioning. Parallel dimensioning. When a number of dimensions are indicated from a common datum, the arrangement is known as parallel dimensioning. Progressive dimensioning. In this method, a dot and a zero sign indicate the datum line. The dimensions are indicated progressively from the datum. The dimensions are placed as shown in the illustration. Coordinate dimensioning. The method of dimensioning shown in figure is known as coordinate dimensioning. For simplicity, the same dimension can be shown separately in a tabular form as shown in figure. This system is used when a number of pieces have to be located from a common origin.
In this way, we will discuss the dimensioning methods. We studied about the general rules and systems of dimensioning and dimensioning arrangements as discussed in this class. So now, once again, we will go to the contents. What are the contents are available in engineering drawing, and in which the introduction class we are studied that drawing instruments, all like drawing board and drawing sheet and T-square, mini drafter and pro circle, set square and scales, and instrument box, pencils and some of other accessories. And similarly, our drawing conventions are layout of drawing sheet, which is already discussed. This is the layout of drawing sheet, and we remember all the informations what we are giving is our most important, because it is the starting chapter and these information should be memorized and should be followed for each drawing sheet. So again, line types also, because while drawing is going on, you have to remember how the thickness of the line should be placed and how thin should be placed and what type of line to be drawn. All should be studied previous class line types. So similarly, lettering drawing, and which are already given that rules and features of lettering. And so vertical lettering is completely like this. Similarly, inclined lettering also we are studied individually. So you remember while placing the lettering, either it is inclined in vertical lettering. Now we will discuss finally
arrow. Drawing an arrowhead terminates dimension lines. The arrowhead may be open, closed or closed and filled. The length to width ratio of an arrowhead should be limited to 3:1. Closed and filled arrowheads are used in drawing. Arrow. Drawing an arrowhead terminates dimension lines. The arrowhead may be open, closed or closed and filled. The length to width ratio of an arrowhead should be limited to 3:1. Closed and filled arrowheads are used in drawing.
So in this way, the arrow, open arrow and closed and filled arrow will be used to represent the drawing. Now let us discuss before going to drawing what are the steps are needed. First step, clean the drawing board and instruments. Step 2, fix the thick cardboard sheet as padding sheet on the drawing board using clips and sellotape. Step 3, fix the drawing sheet over the cardboard using clips or sellotape. Fix the mini drafter at the top of left corner of the drawing board. Step 5, draw the border line using HB pencil, which is like, once again, see that how we can, before drawing, how we can place the drawing board, drawing sheet and mini drafter and clips, etc. we have discussed in this case. In this chapter, will give some questions. Inclined letters is inclined at 75 degrees to horizontal, and second one, after fixing drawing sheet and minute after on the drawing board, the next step to fix clips. Draw the border line. Right. Next, the ratio of height to width of letter other than M and W is. No. This is 5:3, not 4:3. And next parameter of an arrow is 3:1. 1:3. No, it's 3:1, correct. And next, A0 drawing sheet is dash times the size of A4 drawing sheet. No, this is 4 times. Now next, lettering should display uniformity. Both 1 to 2. And similarly, the dimensions of an arc is known by its radius, and a circle is drawn through its diameter. False. And the right method of lettering is to use both one draw freehand and similarly large compasses are used to draw circles up to. Now last, pro circle is used to draw circles specified diameters only. So in this way we have to self-evaluate the modules, and similarly examinations questions also we will discuss some. Now we will close this chapter at this time. Introduction class. Thank you.